Talk about Deion Sanders' recruiting tactics. Deion Sanders, a Big 12 Media Day, was asked, him being a parent of three D1 athletes, how that impacts him in recruiting. Take a listen and you kind of give your commentary there.
Father of three Division I football players, what did you learn during their process as a parent that's helped you formulate your recruiting style as a head coach?
Great question. First and foremost, I've sat in all seats. The parent seat, being recruited as the kid, now being the coach. That helps me tremendously when I'm recruiting. When I'm understanding what the parent is thinking, what the kid is thinking, now what the coach desires to want to know. It's been a tremendous asset for me to understand those facets.
Yeah, kind of break that down, Matt, as a parent, how that can impact, Coach Bryant's recruiting, him being a parent of three Division I players.
Well, look, bro, I'm just going to say this. If you don't want to play for this guy, like, it says something about you at this point. Like, yeah, maybe he's got some X's and O's things that he can learn on the offensive side of the ball, maybe. Like, there's some shit you can criticize, I'm sure. I've criticized some stuff in the past, but again, it's all like off the field, off-season nonsense that's easy to criticize. It's low-lying fruit. Mm-hmm. But when you talk about just football, he's the best player at his position ever. He's the second best return man ever. The first one's going in the Hall in about a month and a half. Devin Hester. Actually, that video of him opening the box with his son standing there, like, it made me tear up because I'm not going to be able to experience that, obviously, but just looking at it, like, how fucking cool is that to be there with your boys and getting your Hall of Fame jacket? So, he's unbelievable offensive player when he wanted to as well. Great baseball player. Everybody says that Bo Jackson is the best two-way player ever. Deion's the best two-way player ever. And that's not even close. I mean, Bo's maybe the best athlete that's ever walked, but Deion's the best baseball player, football player combo at the same time ever. So, that's not blasphemy. That's facts. He's right when he talks about all the different seats and what he's been through and what he can bring to the table with recruiting. And then also, we can't underestimate the importance of a very established, extremely famous, almost a pop culture phenomenon, being the head coach in Boulder, but also being a black man. For years when I was there, even afterwards, there was this this wrong. I'm not saying it was wrong. There's definitely some racist bullshit that's happened and definitely happened in the past in Boulder and other places. We're not going to sit here and act like it didn't happen or doesn't. Right. But there was this cloud over the program that somehow Boulder was a little racist and they didn't want to hire a black guy and blah, 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 blah. Right. Mm-hmm. And since they moved to the Pac-12, they hired Coach Embry, they hired Mel Tucker, and then they hired Deion Sanders. So that's three black head coaches. So that's a good move, but you don't just hire a coach because he's a black guy. Right. You don't hire a coach because he's a white guy. You just hire a coach because he's a good coach. And that's what Rick George did here. He hired an extremely popular, polarizing figure, first ballot Hall of Fame, gold jacket wearing, bad motherfucker, who just also happens to be a really, really good recruiter and a good head coach. Well, a great recruiter. We're still waiting to see if he's a great Division I head coach. I think this year is going to solidify that. Mm-hmm. But also, he can identify with the kids like most older dudes can't. Most old heads can't identify with this generation. One of the things that I really pride myself on is being able to get on the level of these guys, this generation, and really adapt and be able to talk to them and talk them through this whole process. And it's a tricky one with social media. If I would have had social media when I was growing up, two things would have happened. Either, number one, I'm in fucking prison because I was a wild ass animal and I didn't listen to anybody and I was partying my ass off and social. I definitely would have got kicked out of school. Mm-hmm. I definitely would have been in the transfer portal. Not that I wanted to be because I got in so much trouble. Right. I got kicked out in the middle of my career at CU for a whole semester right after we won the Big 12 title game. I got suspended for the Fiesta Bowl, so that was pretty fucking embarrassing. Or either that would have been the road, or I would have screwed up once, and it would have been so embarrassing on social media that I never would have done it again. So I think that's the road that these kids, Everything's done behind closed doors now and silent. It's not like they're not partying and not going out and not being rambunctious. They just do it now where everybody drop your phones, no pictures. Like there's no CIA. You know what I'm talking about. You've been to these before. It's absolutely happening. So I just think that Coach Prime can relate with these guys a little bit better than some of the other coaches, on top of the fact that he's Coach Prime.